You can see that in relationships. You can see that between a husband and a wife.
Right.
The husband can be busy thinking he's loving the wife with everything he's got, and the wife can be busy seeing everything he's doing not as love, but as something else.
Boy, is that frustrating.
And then, and you know why it's frustrating, right? You know why it's frustrating, man? Because in the fall, what happened was it said God told Eve that your desire, because of this, because you've eaten from this tree, your desire will be unto the husband. Meaning that your heart will seek to find the evidence that you're acceptable by looking to the husband instead of looking to God. And you know what the man does? The man seeks to find evidence that he's acceptable by the wife having a good time and always looking like she's happy and that she's loved.
Mm.
And so the man is always looking for evidence of whether or not the wife feels loved. And if the wife looks like she feels loved, the wife looks happy. If the wife looks like things are going well, if the wife is having a good old time, then the husband thinks that's the evidence he's being a good husband.
Good job.
But if the wife does not look happy, and the wife does not look like she's experiencing love, and if the wife does not look like she's having a good go of it, the husband doesn't just think the wife is having a hard time. The husband sees it through the fallen eyes, and you know what he says?
Oh,
I'm falling short.
I fail. Right.
I failed.
Yep.
And so
That's true.
he's not just perceiving that she's having a hard time all on her own. He's perceiving her hard time as now the evidence that he's failing her.
Right.
All the while, her hard time could be that she thinks she's finding evidence that she's not acceptable to the husband. And so her unhappiness is because she's looking to the husband for evidence that she's acceptable. And listen, if you're looking for evidence that you're acceptable by looking to the husband, you ain't never going to find it.
Right.
You know why? Because the husband is imperfect.
Right.
He's not designed for you to find the evidence there. So the more you
He's
look,
not the authority.
the more you look to the husband to find the evidence that you're acceptable to him, the more you're going to hear you're not acceptable.
Amen.
And then the more you're going to feel not loved, the more unhappy you're going to be, the more frustrated you're going to be, the more frustrated you're going to feel that he is with you, then you're going to become frustrated with him. And then you know what the husband's going to see? He's not going to say, well, this was the result of the fall, and my wife's desire is unto me, and she's looking on. You know what he's going to think from the out of mind. It's me. I'm failing. He's going to become very frustrated. Now, what happens is that starts happening on both sides, it starts building. Bitterness starts being born in both people's hearts. Because the wife starts thinking, am I ever just going to be freaking acceptable? Am I ever just going to be good enough? Because she's busy interpreting the husband's behavior, frustration, whatever else, as him being dissatisfied with her. Actually, he's dissatisfied with himself. Because if he was doing what he thought he should be doing, that couldn't be happening.
Yeah. Right.
And so his frustration is with himself. So her bitterness is starting to grow. The husband's bitterness is starting to grow. He's starting to think, I can't ever get it right. I'll never be able to do it. This woman will never believe I love her. She'll never be happy. I'll never be able to prove it. And now the bitterness starts climbing and building and gaining steam. And the next thing you know, they start cannibalizing one another. Because the man doesn't realize he's functioning from the carnal mind. And he starts thinking, it's that woman. I can never do enough. She's never happy with me. She's never happy with what I do. I'm all the time just trying to love her with all my heart, with all my soul, with all my strength. And she's always upset. But her upsetness is because she doesn't believe she's acceptable to the man. And so she's living.
No dinner on the table. No dinner on the table, Big.
Do you guys understand
Oh
that?
yeah, absolutely.
And that's how the bitterness starts climbing. And so the woman doesn't understand this about the man. Most of the time, the man doesn't understand this about the man.
Yeah.
So how can the woman understand it about the man?
Exactly.
Right? And then the woman doesn't understand that she's busy looking to the man for evidence that she's acceptable. So that makes the husband's frustration even much more compounded. Mm-hmm. So she doesn't even just see, oh, this guy's frustrated. That compounds his frustration that he can't make her happy because she sees that's another evidence that she's not acceptable.
Right.
And then it's a wicked thing that goes back and forth and it bounces back and forth and the bitterness builds and builds and builds and builds. All the while, man, the devil's sitting on the sideline eating popcorn, watching the thing go down. He's sitting with the fallen angels. These two guys think that they're against each other. They're laughing, you know. And this is why so many marriages that actually started with love turn into bitterness and hatred and all these other things. because they can't see what's happening for what it is. And they end up becoming frustrated with the other one.
Right.
And you're not seeing it, you're seeing them through the heart of the lie instead of seeing it through the heart of the truth. But once you understand this dynamic and you start seeing things that way. So if the husband gets upset, you start realizing his frustration. You see, your thoughts all of a sudden change. His frustration isn't with me. All of a sudden, you find your heart thinking his frustration isn't with me.
Yeah.
Guess what happens when you no longer think that the other one's frustration is with you? You see it completely differently, man. And then if the husband can realize, that's why, man, and I can get into I'll preach a message about it, but that's just why it talks about wives submitting to their husbands like the church would submit to Christ. This is what it talks about, the husbands having compassion on the wife, understanding this dynamic, understanding the world has taught the wife to find acceptance in him. And that she's weak in that area through the flesh. Always looking, always wanting, always trying to find the evidence of that. And now the husband's job isn't to persuade her, it's to remind her of the truth of where her acceptance is found.
Amen.
Come along each other and they point each other back to God, right? The wife reminds the husband that the evidence that he's good, that the evidence that he's a good husband isn't found by looking at whether or not the wife is happy all the time or not. It's found by looking to God.
What Scott said,